Hello everyone, today we are checking out Dogland, a Vosh cover. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I'm not too sure, but this is on the channel of Fuwa Minato, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a Niji Sanji Japanese talent. And now I believe there's maybe around 5 people in the song. I don't know any of them except for Hayato Kagami, who we got to see in the Tyrant cover with Ike and Finano. So aside from that, all of these talents are new to me. Let's see, looking at it, yes, unfortunately I cannot read Japanese, so much of this is foreign to me, but I can see Kagami that I do recognize. Don't know any of the others, so this is going to be just a massive discovery for me. I haven't heard these guys' voices. I don't know the song, so this is all new. Without further ado, though, let's just get right into things in 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh. Okay, we're getting this very nice bass introduction that's very deep, very bass-centric, and then we're just cutting out, going into this jumpy piano section, and then those bass tones are replaced by this very smooth voice. And I say smooth, but I don't mean smooth necessarily in the vocal quality. I mean smooth in the pronunciation, the way his lyrics are flowing. It's very smooth, but the voice itself is raspy and a little bit grungy, and it matches that jumpiness of the piano. I say piano, but I mean keyboard. And I'm sorry I keep pausing. I just want to keep talking about it. And we're still getting that bass, but the only difference is the bass does sound less significant in the mix from that introduction, which is the intention. And these guys' voices are very... they suit this atmosphere very well. I'm really liking this. Oh. We've got this nice... Nice! Ooh, I like that vocal layering. Ooh, whoa, okay. We got a massive switch up there, which I was not expecting. We've got this jumpy, almost this uneasy almost ambience to it, where it's a little bit dark, a little bit grungy, but it's sort of jittery, and it feels like a spy movie or a detective movie, right? And then we're jumping into this very different segment of the song here. Here it's a very major, and I mean major in sense of the scale. It feels very happy, positive, but happy and positive as an anthem almost. This is, it sounds like a march, an anthem, like a military celebration song, sort of. Ooh, wow. Not only are we getting this interesting keyboard arpeggiated pattern here, but those high notes are beautiful. Oh, their voices mix beautifully. I want to hear that again. I want to mention, throughout that song, it was a very treble based. So we're going from this grungy, very bass-centric segment. Now we're going to this happier, hopeful, marching, anthem-like, happier, more projection, higher segment. I'm like rambling on. I want to just keep talking about this, just what we've heard so far. So we got these two very starkly different segments, and in that second segment we got some beautiful vocal layering from multiple people, and their voices mix super well. I mean, if you told me those were multiple tracks of just one vocalist singing each track, I would believe you. Because, I mean, partially because I'm not accustomed to these talents' voices yet, but also just the way they mix with each other. They understand where they are in the mix. And it's easy to say, oh, you know, they understand where they are in the song, and they can sing to the song. But no, when singing a group song like this, you need to know your part. You need to know where you are in the mix, and you can hear each of them is filling out just enough of what they need to in their vocal track. Like, if they didn't know how to mix their voices together, we wouldn't be able to hear that that keyboard line in the mix so clearly, because it would just feel too jumbled. It would just feel like noise. But the way they've merged their pitches to sound like there's a presence, but it's still unified. And I feel like that's the point. I feel like that's the message that they're conveying, is that they're unified here. And I think that unification matches the environment of an anthem that we had. Interesting. Whoa! That was a massive switch up. What was that? What was that? That was great. What? What was that transition? We got this digital transition to it's just a new song. Wow. But we can see we're getting some patterns here. Not only are we also getting a play on that earlier melody in this new segment, but we're also introducing the new segment with a very bass-centric atmosphere, with that bass taking the stage to introduce the new segment, just like at the beginning of the song. Wow. Man, and now, okay, interesting. So before, the voices were very unified. They were together. Now it feels like we're getting some very separate, very different spectrums of the voices. We're getting this laid back, very nasally voice, and then following it up immediately with this much more clear and precise voice. The way he pronounces it, his syllables are very clear, versus before we're getting this nasally laid back projection. Now we're getting this very upright projection where it's confident. Before it was very like, it was confident, but it was like relaxed. Now it's very confident and active. Ooh. Ooh. Listen to that vocal. Okay, listen to how that vocal track in the back is creating this parallel with the vocal track in the front of the mix. Interesting. So we had a very distinct differentiation in pitches with the vocal track in the back and the vocal track in the front of the mix. But as we went down in pitch, they converged and they went straight to a similar pitch, and it just added projection rather than having a different harmonization there. And the interesting thing here is we're still following with that bass even when we're getting those multiple vocal tracks together, whereas before it felt much more treble bass when they were all unified. I mean treble bass, not bass as in bass tones. I mean treble bass as in higher in tone when they were all unified. Here, we're still keeping that bass tone. So we've got this dichotomy where we're getting this hopeful unified anthem, whereas this separated, very dark, grungy atmosphere now. Though I might have to take back my words, because now we're getting that anthem-esque melody once more, but just in a different a different relation, a different atmosphere compared to before. Before it was much brighter, even visually, and now you can see it's much darker. Nice. Ooh. Nice. We have to hear that sustain again. That was beautiful. Interesting. So we're getting on the ascension. We're coming in steps. We get some pretty clear step jumps in the ascension, but when we're coming down, it's completely fluid.